Hey everyone, welcome back. Another new day, getting a little bit of spring here for 2 days, just beautiful temperatures outside. And then we're supposed to get a whole whack of snow coming up for 2 or 3 days, make the farmers real happy. So anyhow, we're on to the next phase of the 59 and GMC project. We're going to start the chassis swap. And I just wanted to show you what I got done and where we're going with this. So first off, I'll show you something a little funny here. Some people should just never ever be able to touch a welder. This is the Y pipe off of the engine, and where the cats used to be, there's 6 stubs welded together on the passenger side and 5 on the driver's side, and it is some of the worst welding I have ever seen in my life. I'll take you down and show you here. I've seen seagulls shit on a power line neater than that. This side is really bad. There's no penetration in anything. Just let me flip this over if I can without hurting myself. This one here you can see just absolutely horrendous. Nice stuff, eh? Okay, enough of that. So I'll take you on to the next ones. So yesterday was Sunday. Saturday I spent about 3 hours getting the front clip off, disconnecting all of the wiring, the computer, getting everything sorted out. It's actually pretty easy on these LS's. Once you get started, get the fuse panel out, everything just unplugs from the back, separates the cab from the chassis. Then I just had the emergency brake and what was the other thing? Just the emergency brake. So next thing I've done is I cut off the original body mounts off the side. They're not going to be any good to me and they're all in the way. And the next thing I did was figure out from some drawings I got offline. Let me grab one here. So this is the chassis measurements from a 55 to 59 Chevy Apache, which is pretty much the same thing. So using this, I could figure out from the center line of the axle. And what I did was I used a square off of my hoist and a straight edge down. I got the center of the front wheel, and it's 29.5 inches back from there to the center of the front engine mount, the front body mount, which lines up right in the center of this hole on the frame here. So from there, I can position everything exactly where it's got to go. So I'm running into some issues now with the 59 frame is flat from front to back. All of the mounts sit in the same plane, whereas on the 03 here, as you can see, there's quite a kick up in the front, probably close to 6 or 7 inches. That's going to affect everything quite a lot, and I'm going to have to see what I can do, how I can make this work a little better. I may end up cutting the entire front off of the frame here, just in front of the sway bar. That'll allow everything to sit down where it's supposed to. So the other thing I'm trying to figure out if I'm going to do is, I know I'm going to run the 03 booster master cylinder, and I think I'll get rid of all of the ABS, all of the extra crap that a guy doesn't need, because I won't be running the computer for the body anyhow. So I've been doing some descaling on this side. This frame and truck came from out in the salt belt out east, so I was a little worried about it, but it looks like it's pretty good. There's a little layer of rust underneath that wax coating that GM puts on, and I plan on boxing the frame anyhow on the inside. And the other nice thing about these GMs, I'll just go to the other side and I'll show you. When they do the wheelbase changes from the different length trucks. Right here at the front, the front clip is the same on all of them. The back frame is notched. It's slid over top of the front one, and then it's welded around. So to shorten this thing, all I have to do is cut the weld here, trim it back as far as I need, slide it back on, and weld it up. And right now it's looking like I got to take about 21 inches out of this. So anyhow, next thing I'm going to do is going to lift the body off the 59 frame. It's all unbolted and ready to go. And I'm just going to set it on here with some blocks and stuff so that I can start measuring, figuring out what I'm going to have to do. Okay guys, I couldn't video this and do it, drive the tractor, line everything up and run the chain hoist. So I've got it sitting roughly where it's got to go. I know it's not centered or anything, but it's pretty close to where it's got to be, so I'm just going to roll her back in the shop here. Had to stop and get a picture outside. Okay guys, here we go again. Got the truck in the shop here. I've been playing around with alignment on the cab, trying to find the proper height, and fitting the front assembly here, the rad support and everything. I left everything together so that it all stayed square, and just been trying to get the proper height and everything with the and the proper distance forward on the cab. I started off on the frame of the 03 by cutting the entire front section off here, just behind the original rad support mounts. And then I did some dissection on it. I'll go into detail on that once I get the clip back off here, and I can show you exactly what I did. As it turns out, where the frame narrows just behind those rad supports, it's exactly the same outside width as what the 59 frame is. So these mounts were able to slide down over top of it, but I'll show the detail of that. I'm just going to try fitting fenders next to see how I am for level front to back. I've got the 2 bolts in that hold the inner fender to the cab, and I've been slowly adjusting the height on the cab. I'm up to, I've got an 1.5 inches and 3 1/4, so roughly 4 3/4 above the frame is going to be the cab height. It may get adjusted a little bit yet, but I'm just going to install one of these fenders and see how it looks. I may have to put a door on as well, just to make sure that all of the body lines and everything line up. So bring you back short. Hey everyone, been a while. Man, I think I started this video over a week ago. I've been busy with all kinds of stuff. A lot of the stuff on the truck wasn't video worthy. Didn't want to bore you with it, but got quite a bit done, and I'll just show you the progress and what's been happening. So I had started on the body alignment and getting everything lined up, and ended up screwing that up. Had to start all over again and readjust the cab, get it up a little bit higher so I could get the box at the right height. So I'll just show you here. I finally got the box is sitting where it's supposed to be. Let's see if I can get this camera in the right way. I've got, I'll just set this right here, shoot it down the side. For the body lines, you can see everything lines up really nice. On the driver's side, I put the door on, get everything lined up there. There is a few issues there I have to deal with as well. With that A-pillar that didn't fit where the shit, it has caused me some grief, so I'll show you that here in a little bit. So in the box, I've got it set and leveled at the right height, and what I'm going to end up with is a little bit shallower box than I was hoping for. It's not really a big deal, but it is what it is. So the box used to be about 19 inches deep, and it's now going to be about 14 inches deep, which isn't a big deal. Anything that I'm going to be hauling in it, that's going to be loads for height and everything. So by doing this, I don't have to do any C-notches or anything in the frame. My clearance on my fenders worked out just with the tires, just as expected. I have 1/2 inch from the sidewall. A guy could go with a little bit smaller tire. These are 255. I think if you went with a 245, it would just give you that little bit extra clearance. But these tires were such a good price, I couldn't pass up. So I'll just take you around the front, lift the truck up a bit, and show you what's happening there. Just before I get it lifted up, what I've been working on here is a new cross member for the steady bearing. The old one was fairly rusty. As you're probably aware, these 99 to 09 Chevy trucks, the frames were a real problem for rust. You can buy replacement cross members and patch panels for the frame and everything. So this one had a fair bit of rust scale on it. I've spent a lot of time scaling it with a needle scaler, getting everything cleaned up, and putting rust converter on everything. So I'll just lift the hoist up here a bit. Stop there, and I'll take you up front here, show you what I did up there with the rad cradle. So this is what happened, and it's amazing how it worked out. The GM frame, in the earlier part of the video, I showed you where I cut this off just behind the old rad cradle mounts. And the frame starts out here at about just over 2 inches wide, and then it makes a big flare out to go into that front rad cradle assembly. So what I did was I split the side of the frame here. I just run the zip disc on. I bent these in on both sides. I'm going to box all of this in and make the mount for the rad cradle. And amazingly, the outside dimension and inside dimension of the frame on the 03 chassis is exactly the same width as the frame on the 59. So once you pinch this together, everything sits exactly where it's supposed to. So once I make these blocks, we can shim the front for final adjustment and just bolt everything down. It should work really well. The other thing I'm working on, and I'm hoping it's going to work out, is I believe the rad cradle from the 03, I can trim it down and it'll actually go in here. I can replace the 59 one, and then I'll be able to use the 03 rad and AC condenser. So we'll just go up a little more here. Take you underneath. So there's the new cross member I'm working on. It's all set at the proper height. Now, what I'm doing and what I've ended up with is I have to shorten this frame between 20 and 20 and a half inches. I have yet to do my final measurement. And I'll be taking that out right here in the center. And then I am going to box this entire frame right from the transmission cross member here all the way back up to this cross member just in front of the differential. And I'm going to be boxing that with 12 gauge steel, so it's going to end up way stronger than original. Original plan was to do the shorten right here. I can't do that because of the way they've changed the frame on these. Now it's the transmission cross member is welded right in. They used to be just bolted in. So that kind of screwed things up there. No big deal. The cab mounts on the front, I have those completed. See if I can get you up here. I built those out of 1/4 inch steel. Get some light in here. They sit on top of the frame as well as come down, and then the cab bolts come through the bottom. So those I can use, and I can shim them for adjustment as well. And what else have we got here? So rear cab mounts, I can't do anything with those until after I shorten the frame, because these mounts are going to move from here to somewhere around here, and there's the curve up in the frame here, so I'll have to build them to suit how this is. So that's about it for that. Next thing I'm going to work on here is my boxing on the back. And this weekend is Easter weekend. I have my buddy from Lethbridge is coming, and we're going to pull everything off, and we're going to shorten the frame here. So I'll bring you back here in a bit. Okay, we're back. So working on my boxing plates here, and normally started out with the old Bud Light CAD, made my pattern with my cutout for the steady bearing cross member. So what I did was I laid out the first one, marked it out with the felt, and then I freehand cut it with my plasma cutter. Got it all trimmed and fit, ground up. And then to save time so that you don't have to freehand both of them, if you use the one that you just finished, lay it out on your piece of steel, clamp it down, and use the edge of it to make your cut. And you can only do the two long sides. You can't do the ends because of the length that it adds. But anyhow, make your cut, then move your piece down even with the edge of your first cut. Put a mark on your piece of steel. Then if you move down 1/8 of an inch, which is half the diameter of the tip on my particular plasma cutter, I move both ends down 1/8 of an inch. I use it as a guide, and I end up with a perfect match from my first one. So it saves freehanding and trying to do all the grinding on two of them. You're only doing it on one. So little tip there. So next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to get everything cleaned up on the frame. I'm going to get some primer on the inside of the frame and on my panels here. And then I'm going to start getting these things welded in there. Okay, we're back again. I've got all the boxing plates in. Comes all the way up, joined all the way both sides. Should solid the frame up a whole bunch. So next thing we'll be doing is shortening the frame, and we'll be taking the 20 inches out here like I mentioned, and then I'll run a boxing plate from the front here back and join in at an angle on this one, and then I'll put a little fish plate on the inside of that, as well as a fish plate on the outside of where I do the actual splice in the frame there. So I think we'll call that good for this video, and we'll do another one on the weekend here once we get into getting everything off of the frame so that we can get it shortened. And the plan is, as soon as we have it all shortened, welded back together, we'll put everything back on here, and I can button up a bunch of stuff. And then I'll be putting this project away for the summer and taking back up on it again back in September. So I just got too many other things on the go, and it's going to be a busy summer with car shows and a bunch of car events. So anyhow, everybody, thanks for watching, thanks for tuning in, thanks for all the support. We'll catch you on the next one.